All right, welcome. We are doing lesson 106 today, evaluating expressions. Evaluating expressions. This video will be shorter than the last two, so that's good news. We are just going to be talking about variables like R or B or D. Any letter that you see in math is called a variable. Okay, so for this, our variables right here are R. These are the, whoops, that's 3. These are the variables that we are talking about. So in our example, if R is 5, then what's the value of each of these expressions or these equations? Okay, so basically all you're going to do is plug in 5 for R. So this one, instead of R, we're going to say 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. For this one, instead of R, we're going to say 5. 5 minus 3 is 2. Perfect. And remember, if you have a letter and a number right next to each other, that means you multiply them. So instead of R, we're going to say 5. So we're going to say 3 times 5 is 15. So that is all we are going to do. We're going to scroll down. We're going to do some of the lesson practice together. Remember, when you have a variable, it will tell you what you're plugging in for that variable or that letter. Okay, so the first one, if m equals 12, then what is the value of m minus 10? So m minus 10, instead of m, we're going to put 12. What's 12 minus 10? 2. So our answer to A is 2. Okay, now they're going to get a little bit harder, don't worry. Letter B, evaluate A plus B when A equals 9 and B equals 15. So we are doing A plus B. We're going to plug in A. It says A equals 9, so we're going to put 9 here plus B. B equals 15, so we're going to do 15 plus 9. Okay, you can do that. If you can't do that in your head, you can write it like this. 9 plus 5 is 14. 1 plus 1 is 2, so our answer is 24. What is the value of xy when x equals 6 and y equals 7? Remember, if you have something right next to each other, like x and y right next to each other, it doesn't have an addition sign or a subtraction sign. If you just have x, y right next to each other, that means you multiply. So what is the value of 6 or x and y when x is 6 and y is 7? Remember, we're multiplying. 6 times 7 is 42, so we're going to write 42 there. All right, let's look at D. What is the value of w squared when w is 5? Not going to write this one out. We're just going to plug in 5 for w. What's 5 squared? 5 squared just means 5 times 5, which is 25. Okay, all right. This one is a little bit trickier. We will write this one out on the side. If A equals LW, or this is actually a real formula that you've probably seen before. Area, remember, we do area of a rectangle means length times width. Okay, so if A equals LW, then what is A? So we still are trying to figure out what A is. What is A when L is 8? So that's 8. And W is 4, so we're going to multiply it by 4. So A equals 8 times 4. So what is 8 times 4? 32. So A equals 32. A equals 32. Okay. F, evaluate M divided by N. M divided by N. So you are going to write M over N. And then it says M is 12. So I'm going to put 12 there. And N is 3. So I'm going to put 3 right there. And then we're not going to leave it like this. We're going to actually evaluate it or solve it. 12 divided by 3 equals 4. We talked about this a few days ago as well. Okay. And G, our very last one. This one you might see on your homework, possibly. I maybe put that as one of your homework problems. All right, find the value of the square root of t. The square root of t when t is 16. So square root of t, square root of 16. That means what times what equals 16, and that what is the same number. So that answer would be 4. This is not division. We're not putting it on top. Sorry. We'll just put it over here. 4. So t equals 16, and we're taking the square root of 16, which means our answer is 4. Okay, that one is 4 as well. Okay, if you need to go back and watch the beginning of this video to understand this a little bit better, feel free to do that. We're going to take just a few minutes to review some more concepts that you'll see on the test. So again, if you don't want to listen to this part of the video and you want to just start your homework, you're welcome to do that. But I promise it will help you with what is on the test, and it will help you with what is on your homework today. Okay, so we're going to go up to another document here in math practice so that we can do some other problems. Okay, so we are going to talk about converting decimals to fractions and fractions to decimals. So again, if you already know how to do this, then you can go ahead and start your homework. We're going to do that, and then we're also going to do 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication, just a review of those two concepts. So if you're a pro and you don't need to relearn those concepts, go ahead and start your homework. Good luck. If you need a little extra practice, follow along with me. We are just going to talk about converting fractions to decimals. So let me give you this fraction, 23 over 100. We are going to convert this fraction into a decimal, and then we're going to convert that fraction into a decimal, and we're going to look at the differences, see if we can figure that out. Okay, so 23 over 100 as a decimal is going to look like this: 0.23. Remember, this is our tenths place, and this is our hundredths place. So because it is over 100, we need to go out to the hundredths place. Okay, this one is a little bit different because we need to go out to the thousandths place. So remember, this one is, we've talked about this, but it's been a couple weeks, and I know you've been home for a while. So this is going to actually look like this, because this is our tenths place, this is our hundredths place, and this is our thousandths place, and that's where we need our last number to be, which is our 3. Okay, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to put it in red because it's not correct. This is something that I see all the time. This is not right. Okay, this number right here is the same as this number over here. If you add a 0 to the end of it, you can add a million zeros to the end. Okay, that number is still the same as this number right here. Okay, so if we are converting to the thousandths place, the last number, this number right here, needs to be in the thousandths place. And then this number needs to be in the hundredths place, which means you need a filler 0 right there. Okay, because that's your tenths place. Think about it. If you have 100 marbles and you give away 23 of them, that's a lot different than if you have 1,000 marbles and you give away 23 of them. You're going to have a lot more, right? So 23 hundredths and 23 thousandths are way different. Those numbers are very, very different when we're talking about the fraction of how many marbles you have, okay? Because 23 hundredths is about 1/4 of them, but 23 thousandths is a lot less than 1/4. Okay, so I know this is a difficult concept, but this is just a review. You will see something like this on your test on Friday. Okay, now we're going to convert from decimals into fractions. I think this way is a little bit easier. So from decimals, let's do 0.159, and let's do 3.78. Okay, So if we are putting this decimal, 159 thousandths, 0 and 159 thousandths, into a fraction, we need to put 159 on the top, and then we need to figure out what we put on the bottom. Well, this is our tenths place, hundredths place, thousandths place, which means we put 1,000 on the bottom. Okay? And then for this one's going to be a mixed number. Remember, we just talked about that. This is just a fraction because 0 is over here. But this one's going to be a mixed number, so we're going to have 3 right here. And then the fraction part is what comes after the decimal. So we're going to have 78 over something. We don't know. What is it going to be over? Well, this is our tenths place. This is our hundredths place, which means we put it over 100. 3 and 78 hundredths is how you would say that number. 3 and 78 hundredths. Okay? I hope that was helpful for you. We are just going to do one more problem. We are going to do a 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication just as a practice. So again, if you already know how to do 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication and you want to start your homework, you're welcome to go. For those of you that need a little bit of extra help, it's been a while since we've talked about this. So let's just do one problem together. We're going to do 72 times 65. Okay? Remember, there are several steps for this. The first step, we're just going to treat it just like it's a 1-digit by 2-digit multiplication problem. So we're only worried about this 5 right here. We're going to forget about that 6 for just a minute. Okay? So 5 times 2 is 10. I'm going to put the 0 down here, the 1 up here. 5 times 7 is 35 plus 1, which is 36. Okay? That's the first step. We are done with our 5. We're done with this 1 up here. We're moving on to our second step. Our second step is so important. We are putting a 0 right here. Don't forget to do that. That's one that a lot of people forget about. That's why it's its own step, because it's so important. All right, step number 3. Now we're going to do the same thing that we just did with the 5, but we're going to do it with the 6. 6 times 2 is 12. I'm going to put my 2 down there, my 1 up here. 6 times 7 is 42 plus 1, which is 43. Okay, that's step number 3. And now on to our very last step. We are just going to add these numbers together. 0 plus 0 is 0. 6 plus 2 is 8. 3 plus 3 is 6. And nothing plus 4 is 4. So our answer is 4,680. 4,680. 72 times 65. Okay? Good work today. Thanks for staying with me if you guys made it to the end of the video. Your homework will have lots of these problems that we've just talked about. Remember, you can do your homework as many times as you want. So if you miss a couple the first time, feel free to go back and do it again. The questions will be the same. Make sure you understand how to do every question, because I promise that will help you with the test. If you don't know how to do one, don't just skip it. You guys can send me a message in Canvas and I will be able to answer those questions if you need some help. Okay? Good luck on your homework, and I will talk to you guys later.